Hi guys, my name is the driver's teacher. Looking at the rate at which accident is increasing day in, day out, I want us to talk about thigh care, how we can care for our thighs. Because the rate at which accident is increasing is too bad. And most of the time, we always pay attention to the engine of the car, the body, taking the car for body work, spraying them and all that. But we easily forget the kind of tires that is under our car. That is what I want us to talk about it and draw our attention to it so that if we have forgotten, we can pay attention to the tires also. Talking about the tire, the validity period of a tire is 4 years. Whether you use them or you don't use them, 4 years it will expire. So whenever you are going to buy a tire, you must watch the date of production of the tire. Then you will be able to know that this tire is valid or is invalid. And also don't say that the rate at which things are increasing day in, day out, you want to go and buy tires and put them down. No. When you buy it, whether you use them or you don't use them, the tires can be at the storeroom for as long as it is. But the moment it is due, that's the date of expiring 4 years, you cannot do anything about it again. One will ask, how would I be able to know that the tire that I'm buying has expired or not? Talking about this thing, always the manufacturer will provide the date of manufacturing on the tire, which mostly we read them in weeks and years. It is not like the way we read the normal dates that maybe you read like 21st of maybe October 2024. No, this one is being read in weeks and years. So you have to convert the number of weeks into the normal date that you know. So even if you don't know the number of weeks, you must pay attention to the number of the year on it so that you can easily know that, oh, okay, this tire was manufactured in maybe 2012, and looking at 2012 till now, the tire has already expired. So you must always pay attention to the date of manufacturing on the tire. Talking about the dates of manufacturing of the tire, one will ask, where can we see this date of manufacturing of the tire? You know that the tire has a lot of labels. That is the safes, the groovy, the block, the ribs, the shoulders and all that. The shoulders is where we normally wash when we take the car to the washing bay. So that is where the date of manufacturing of the tire is located. Exactly the same place, that is where you can see the tin number of the tire. So where the tin number is, you can see the date of manufacturing. You can also see the rim size, the tire number and all that, so that whenever you are going to buy tire, you will be at the lookout to check whether the tire has expired or not. Tires are the vehicle only point of contact with the road. So if you don't buy correct tire and fix them under your car, you should know that the probability of you getting an accident is very high. So always make sure that you buy correct tire. You buy tire with the maximum tread wear, that is the 1.6 mm. You shouldn't be less than that so that you'll be safe on the road. Check tire pressure and the spare tire at least once a week when the tires are cold. So you make sure that at least once a week you take the car to a vulcanizer to check the pressure of the tire to see that whether the tire is underinflated or is overinflated. When you do all these things, it helps to prolong the lifespan of the tire, because incorrect tire pressure may affect the tire's lifespan and vehicle handling. Because if the tire pressure is very low, that is underinflated, handling of the steer becomes very difficult. And also please make sure that the nuts are really fixed well on the tie area in order not to let the tie go and remove in the course of you moving. Do these things to save your life and to save others, because when your tie removed, it can roll and go and hit, or can go and cross another person to also get an accident on the road. Now let's talk about tie temperature resistance. One will ask, what do we mean by temperature resistance? You should always bear in mind that the point of contact between the car and the road is the tie. And since the road is exposed to the sunlight and all that, you must have a correct temperature for the tie so that the tie will not burst in the course of you moving. These letters, that is A, B, and C, indicate the tie's resistance to heat. So meaning we use letter A, letter B, letter C to indicate whether the tie can hold this particular heat or not. So when we go down, we have the symbols and we have the areas. So we use the letters in place of the symbol. Letter A stands for hot area. Letter B stands for normal weather. And letter C stands for cold area. You should know that Ghana, we are part of the West African country. So whenever you are buying tie, you shouldn't go and buy normal weather or cold area. No, you should always opt for the temperature A. So you always look out for letter A on the shoulders of the car, indicating temperature A for Ghana, which is a hot country. Now let's move on to talk about tie traction. When we talked about traction, we said traction is the ability of the tie to stop in a wet road or not. So the traction talks about how the tie, when you apply the brake, how the tie can hold the ground well. And with these ones, we have some things that I want us to talk about it, or I want us to see. So that whenever we are buying tie, we can always make out for the best traction. We don't just choose any tie, just like that. Because when you are buying tie, there are some key things that you need to pay much attention to whenever you are buying tie. So the first point that you need to know is this. These letters, AA, followed by A, followed by B, and C, indicates the tie's ability to stop in a wet road. So meaning, with the traction area, they also use letters starting with AA. So the letters on it will tell you whether your car can stop in a wet road or not. So that is the first point that you need to pay attention to. Also, you should always know that a higher grade tie should allow you to stop your car or your vehicle on a wet road in a shorter distance than a tie with lower grade. So always bear in mind that in terms of this grade, if you go for the highest one, it will always help you to stop your car within a shorter period than the tie which has a lower grade. And below are the grades from higher to low. That is AA, followed by A, followed by B and C. So these are the grades of tie. And AA is the highest. So please, whenever you are buying tie, make sure that you choose the highest of all the traction, that is traction AA. Please take note that whenever you are buying a tie, there are some things that you don't need to forget them in making a good choice. That is the date of manufacturing of the tie, tie's temperature resistance, and the tie's traction. So make sure that you always check these three things, because the date of manufacturing will let you know whether the tie has expired or not. Temperature resistance will also help you to know that as you are hitting onto the road, your tires are not going to get burst easily. And also the traction is going to help you stop your car within a shorter period. So make sure when you are buying tie, you go for temperature A and traction AA, and also check the date of manufacturing. And also don't forget to check the tie tread depth on the tie. That is 1.6 to make sure that it is of gauge, so that when it rains, the tires can easily veer through the water for it to have direct contact to the ground. Lastly, please take note that every car tire has a speed. So every tire has a speed which we normally use letters which start from the L. The L has a speed of 120 going all the way to 3 something. So please, whenever you are descending a hill, never coast. That is, never drive in a neutral whenever you are descending a hill. When you do that, you allow the tire speed to take place. So always use gear 1 to descend the hill and use the same gear 1 when you are climbing the hill to be on the safer side. My name is the driver's teacher. That will be the end of today's section. God willing, next week I will talk about how to, or the process involved in changing of a tire when your tire gets bust, what you should do before you can change the tire and all that. Because we normally see people on the road when they have punctures and all that, and it becomes difficult for them to change the tire. They have all the means, they have the spare tire and all that, but they hardly do or change the tire because they lack the knowledge of changing the tire. So expect me on your next episode for the process of changing of a tire. Please share to your friend, share to your lovely one, share to your family to promote driver education. We are losing a lot of life. Don't forget that 6 to 8 people die every day through road accidents. My name is the driver's teacher. See you, God willing, next week, how to change tire or the process involved in changing a tire. Thank you.